Well, we are live on YouTube. It is officially 3 o'clock Eastern Time. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the next hour of me and listening to us babbling mindlessly. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear. Today's date is February 6th, 2022. Joining me off camera today, this week, is my dad. He's hiding. Here, let me move up the boom arm. Oh, now you can see my dad. See him? He was hiding behind the boom arm of my mic here. Amy is in the bedroom. She's on the phone with someone right now, her son. So, welcome. If this is your first time here, I go live on YouTube every Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. I don't allow chat or comments because I've had a long history of people who can't behave themselves. They come on here starting shit and they like to provoke arguments and spread misinformation. I'm not going to deal with that drama. But, however, you can watch and listen, or just listen and not watch, or watch and just not fucking listen to a word I say at all. Either way. Here I am on a Sunday afternoon. This is what I do every week, unless something comes up to where I have to cancel for the week. But this is usually where I am. And I talk about the week in review, which is what I'm going to do right now. So, a couple things to get out of the way. Excuse me. A couple things to get out of the way. My cousin Brian's funeral was last week. I attended the showing, or the viewing, I should say. It's not the showing, it's the viewing. I went to the wake. And last Sunday, and this was at night. It was during the night, so obviously, I didn't go live or do anything like that, but I think I put out a video. My Aunt Joyce passed away at a hospital in Saginaw. I think she was like 73 or something like that. She had smoked cigarettes for many years. She suffered with COPD and ultimately resulted in her death. She was cremated, so there wasn't any services, but another one gone, another one of my aunts gone. And so now, out of all 10 of my grandpa and grandma Perkins' kids, there's only 3 remaining, Joanne, Bob, and Mark. So I wanted to send out my love and condolences to my cousins once again for the loss of their mother. I loved Aunt Joyce. She was a sweet lady, had a wonderful sense of humor, and yeah, she looked a lot like his mom, my grandma Charlene. Um, so my love and condolences go out to my cousins today, and I hope they're trying to find ways of navigating through this loss, as we all are. So other than that, I mean, what's happened this past week, Dad? We paid bills. Yeah, that's always something that we do. We take care of our finances as we should. Yep, we got property taxes coming up due on Valentine's Day. Yep, Valentine's Day, our property taxes are due. So I guess you could say the township treasurer has a love for money. It's not her money. It's going back to the, yeah. No, we go to the Dow. We go to the Dow Event Center. We pay for that. I don't mind paying for that. You're talking about Castle Museum. We've never been to Castle Museum in Saginaw, but we do pay for the Dow Event Center. We pay for the Children's Hospital, the Children's Zoo in Saginaw. I don't know why I was thinking hospital. The Children's Zoo in Saginaw. We pay for a lot of things. We pay for Delta College. We pay for a lot of things in the taxes, but we're gonna have those paid on Valentine's Day, and then next month we have a propane bill we have to pay because we ran out of propane last week and had to have our company deliver some propane. Our tank was like right at 0, so yeah, when it gets down to 20%, that's when we have to call them and have them deliver more. So we're looking at a lot, a little under $700. So it's like 673. Yeah, well, I rounded it up to the next dollar, 672 and some change, but 673. So dad and I going on half of that. We pay for the propane and the property taxes. So we got it all situated. We got it all straightened out. Um, so today, after I get done doing this and spending an hour with you guys, I'm going to be headed north up to my cousin's house. I haven't been up there in quite some time, and I miss my cousins. I want to see my family, and um, yeah, I want to see their new pond. I want to see how the kids are doing. Obviously, they're getting bigger. Haven't seen them in a while, and I wouldn't mind going up there and visiting with them and hanging out for a little while. Gonna take my van, of course, because now my van is running pretty good according to dad over here. Dad and Amy went out last night. I'm not going to disclose where they went, but they went out last night. I told dad, take the van, go have fun. You and Amy get the fuck out of here. I got the house to myself. Everything here is fine. And they came home in a really super good mood. I know why they came home in a super good mood. Nothing, like nothing like that. Nothing perverted or sexual. Nothing like that. But they went out. They had a great time. They came home in a really happy-go-lucky mood, and I know why I would be happy-go-lucky myself. But yeah, they had a great night. I had a great time having the house to myself. And that's the thing that kind of blows me away about people's they have all this free time. Like you're single, you don't have kids, you don't have a spouse or a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and you're miserable. Where's the misery? You've got time to yourself, man. You got time to yourself. Think about, let your thoughts register. Yeah, well, just thoughts in general. Let your thoughts register. Accept what you accept and don't accept what you don't accept. Enjoy the time to yourself. I love being alone, by myself well, not all the time, but sometimes it's not so bad. But dad and Amy went out on Saturday night last night. I'm for some reason I think today is Monday. But they went out last night. They had a wonderful time, and they came back in a great mood. I was in a better mood, having time to myself, and I told dad the keys are here. Take my van, get the fuck out of here for a few hours, and they did. And I told them, don't come back home until you're ready. Oh yeah, my van has heated seats. My dad is in love with the heated seats in my van. And it keeps you toasty in there. My van does a good job of keeping you nice and warm. And speaking of my van, I got an oil change at Fast Studies in Owasso. One of my friends on Facebook says, "Oh, I wouldn't have went to Fast Studies." Well, so far so good. I haven't had any issues. Um, had to put some power steering fluid in it because when I would turn it, I'd hear like a zzz, like a buzzing sound. It's like, that's weird, but I would only hear it when I would turn it. So I told my dad, I said, well, maybe it needs some power steering fluid, maybe that's what it is. And dad says, I think you might be right about that. So dad added a little bit of power steering fluid in the reservoir, and now the sizzling sound is gone. And we are greeted with a new sizzling sound. Goes by the name of Amy, joining us off camera in my crackly voice. So how you doing, Amy? Doing a lot better. We were just talking about the fun time you guys had last night.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you needed the time away, and I needed time to myself. Yeah. Yeah, one got lucky on a scratch off ticket. I mean, can't beat that. I never have luck on scratch offs.
I had 50 when I went, or wait, was it 50 when I went in? Yeah. 50 when I went in, and I came out with 100. I split that 100 and
Still got mine left.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to get my son something for his birthday because that's the first.
Yeah.
And so I told Dad, I says, I'm going to split this 25-25.
There you go.
And then I went into the gas station to go use the restroom, get some stuff to drink and that. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and trust my luck at some $5 tickets and some dollar ones. And
I never have luck
ended
on
up-
scratch offs.
I ended up winning altogether $53.
Yeah, I never have luck. I never have luck on scratch offs, or well, I haven't gambled. Not with my own money. But Dad, I mean, he says, here's $5, play Keno, and I end up losing. So I just fuck it. I'm not gonna play it anymore. Yeah, that one day. How many years ago?
When you don't hit
Yeah,
on scratch offs,
yeah.
go to a different, like Merrill, Hemlock. and
Marion
buy-
Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to a different store and buy them.
I'm surprised somebody's gonna hit big over there in Main Springs because they just opened that store.
Well, they sold a big winner over there. They sold a big winner, Fantasy 5 winner at Nixon's and Brent some time ago. I just haven't had it. I mean, they sold a big winner up here at Admiral, but it was someone from Oakley. She had the megaplier or the power play or whatever. What I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't even remember what game it was, but she got really lucky. She won like $5 million, and she's from Oakley. I don't know who it is. I'm not going to give her name, obviously, but so I don't know. Some people have the luck, and most people don't. But like with Club Keno, I don't think that's luck. I think there's a lot of I think you win when they want you to win. I think, because if the lottery is meant to draw revenue for the state, I don't understand or believe them thoroughly on the outcome of the numbers being random. Well, no, they claim that they're using the lottery to generate revenue for the state. But if that's the case, how can the numbers be random? That they got the purpose of the lottery is to generate revenue for the state. Well, it can't be random. There's got to be some control because they have to take in more than what they pay out. Well, we saw the 3-digit though. We went to Detroit and actually watched the drawing. I don't know why they have a test drawing. There's just no if it's in a secured area, there's no reason why there should ever be a test draw. Nobody has access to that room. I mean, there's cameras all around the room where the drawing is being held. Yeah, and when they had the test draw, the numbers that came up in the test draw were the numbers on my dad's ticket, and it didn't count because it was just a test draw. And Dad was pissed. Yeah. Dad was furious. And I don't blame him. I would have been pissed too, but there's got to be control. There's got to be some regulation. I mean, they're the lottery. They take in more than what they pay out. There's been young people winning.
I mean, most of the time,
There was a guy from yeah, I know. I'm talking about Michigan, not other states, just Michigan. Like there was a guy out in Lapeer. He got really lucky. He won one of the big mega jackpots. And when they had the press conference in Lansing at lottery headquarters, they asked him, "What's the first item you're going to buy?" And he says, "A pack of gum." A pack of gum? You just won like 10 million or something like that, and the first item you're going to get is a pack of gum. But, got to appreciate his sense of humor. But I don't like gambling personally, not anymore, just because of how yeah, I know. Just because of how fixed and controlled all that is. Like, I don't believe that's really truly as random as they claim that it is.
Or they go into drugs.
Well, they piss it away.
They go to drugs.
If it's not killing them, yeah. If they're not dying, if they're not dying from drug overdose or have a heart attack and keel over, they get all this money and then they piss it away. They get stupid with it. thinking that, oh, I can spend all this money on a 3-story house with an in-ground pool and a fancy car, and there's always going to be money. If you manage money wisely, yeah, you'll stay in the money loop. You'll keep having money. But there's just people out there who think that the money is going to last forever, and it doesn't, because nothing lasts forever. And when you die, you're not going to need the money. You'll be fucking dead.
Or you give so much money to a certain person and they go and splurge and
Well, no,
they don't need.
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're pissing it away. Essentially is what I'm saying. It's just people who don't know how to handle their finances properly, and they get all this money. They get all this money, and they think they're invincible, and that nothing can hurt them, nothing can touch them. There's always going to be money. Money solves our problems. And that, to me, that's just bullshit. Even if I did win that kind of money, like hundreds of millions, I mean, yeah, I would treat myself, but I would also be very smart and conscious and make conscious choices and decisions about how I manage the money and who I help. And I would just be very smart about how I would handle my money. And a lot of people, they just get so carried away, and it's a shame. Then they end up in financial ruin, or they end up dead somewhere. They get into drugs and they die of a drug overdose, or something stupid happens, and then they end up dead. And then they're not going to enjoy the money anyhow. So yeah, it's really something. I'm humble. Everything, it might not be brand new or fancy, but everything I own is mine, and I might have something that nobody else has, and I'm lucky to own it. I'm lucky to have it. Um, there's a lot of things I possess in this house that most other places, or other people, I should say, don't possess, and vice versa. They probably have things that I only wish I had. But yeah, we kind of really beat up on that, but that's okay. It's conversation. I like conversation. Um, but yeah, today, after I'm done with this Sunday video update, we're headed north. We're going up to my cousin's house. I haven't seen them in who knows how long. Um, the kids, I would imagine, are growing like tumbleweeds. Um, I think it'd be nice to go up there, hang out for a little while, and see what's happening. I started, for those of you, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I started a private group on Facebook called the Fuller-Giroux family, and I made the post on my Facebook before I went live on YouTube today. So if you are a relative of mine, or my grandpa Fuller, or his parents, Earl Fuller and Violet Giroux, those are my great grandparents, and my dad's dad, his name is Herb. If you're a relative or a descendant of my grandparents, join the group. You have to send a request to join it, and because I'm the admin of the group, I have to go through and approve all of the requests to join the group. But I figured I would plug that in. Seems I want to get to know my family, and keep in touch with relatives, and things like that. And this comes at the height of, I found out all this awesome information last week about our ancestry when we were at Grandpa Fuller's last week. I mean, he's got stacks of paper like this. If you were watching last week's Sunday video, I talked a lot about it. In fact, I think I spent the whole hour talking about how ecstatic I was, because I was finding out all this awesome information about my family from centuries ago. And it spans all the way back to the 1700s. And my grandpa has the family history. It's in a box, and he's got stacks upon stacks upon stacks of paperwork. I would have to say at least 10,000 sheets of paper, if not more. There's a lot of family history, and I've got a lot of interesting, like, I had a grandfather who was born in Staffordshire, England, and I had another grandfather who was from India originally. And I mean, there's just so much information, and just a lot of stuff to go over. I just think it's really cool. And so I started the Fuller Giroux Facebook group, so that way it would bring all of us together. We can have conversations, talk about things, introduce, if you got kids that, I got cousins I've never met, rest assured, on my dad's side. So, you know, to bring the people in so I can get to know who they are. Maybe perhaps, like if you got kids, I want to know who your kids are. If you got grandkids, I want to know who your grandkids are. Absolutely. I want to know my relatives. I want to know um, who else who else is a descendant of Violet Giroux and Earl Fuller, I think it'd be great. Or at least, cousins of my grandfather. Grandpa Fuller's got a lot of cousins. And every time I go over there, I'll ask him questions about, his aunts, his mom's sisters and siblings and stuff. And I think it was a few years ago. I want to say at least 3 years ago, our Aunt Virginia passed away. And I think her last name was Owen, if I'm not mistaken. It might be Owen. I would have to check with Grandpa Fuller. He might have that information. I'm sure he does somewhere. But she was my grandma Violet's sister, Virginia, and she was like 97 years old when she passed away. So, and if she has kids, I've never met them. I'm sure she's got kids and grandchildren. They're my cousins somehow. I have no idea who they are. I've never met them, and it would be kind of cool to get to know, um, some of my relatives and bring us all together so we can get to know each other and just, bring us all together. And I think that's what that was its intended purpose. But I read somewhere earlier or last week that Facebook is losing users. The number of users is going down, and Mark Zuckerberg is not a happy camper about that. Well, I'll tell you part of that reason, and it just happened to a friend of mine, and she's the mom of a childhood cancer survivor. She posted, and I find this to be so fucking stupid, laughably stupid. She posted a picture of her son without his shirt on, okay, because that's where his chemo port was. And there's a lot of pictures of her son shirtless. And Facebook registered that as child nudity. And it was just his shirt. His shirt was off, so you could see his chest or whatever, and you can see the chemo port. Now she's been, uh, I would guess you want to call it suspended for 5 days as a result of quote unquote multiple restrictions on her account, which I think is bullshit because I can't begin to tell you the number of times I've reported pages, and these are fake pages and they're sponsored pages. So they're paying Facebook to get these pages promoted. Just nothing of pictures of kids who are in their underwear and nothing else. They're not wearing pants or anything like shorts or nothing. They are just in their underwear. They're swimming and just a bunch of guys getting off on it. It's fucking disgusting. I have reported any number of pages on Facebook, sponsored pages. And in turn, Facebook says, well, we're not going to take any action because it doesn't violate our community standards. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, Christ on a cracker, Facebook, maybe you should upgrade and update your fucking community standards because they suck. Here, this is actual, sexually suggestive material where these are kids in Speedos and just nothing but their underpants. And you don't see anything wrong with that when in fact it's sexually suggestive. And yet there's a very good friend of mine who posted a picture of her son without a shirt on. And he had, his chemo port. You could see where his chemo port was, and they want to call that child nudity. I think it is totally fucking backwards. And yeah, Zuck, you wonder why you're losing users, why the user number has gone down, because your community standards are fucking stupid. You should do something about that. You should change it. You should revise your community standards. And when we report pages like little boys and their underwear and their Speedos and all this shit, maybe you people at Facebook should learn to take it more seriously and stop dicking around. saying, "Oh, we don't find this to be in violation of community standards. Your community standards suck." Or maybe there's pedophiles working at Facebook. Who knows? It would only make sense to me. But anyway, that's my rant about Facebook. And I'll probably get my account restricted now after sounding off about Facebook. So Dad came back in with some grub. What are you eating over there? Sardines and crackers. I like sardines.
I just don't like the taste of them. They got that smoky taste.
Smoky taste? Sardines have a smoky taste to them? Well, if they're smoked, yeah.
No, those are just in water. They do. They got that.
Well, some of them come in water, some of them come in oil.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. It's like Dad and I were at the bar or out at Billy's one night, and we were talking about Blind Robin. And it's fish. It's really salty. And I said, have you ever had Blind Robin before? And huh? Yeah, Terry. I asked Terry, I said, have you ever had Blind Robin before? He says, no, what the fuck is that? It's fish. He says, yeah. See, it's a blind bird that you scrape off the side of the road. He says, you eat that? I said, oh yeah. And he was convinced. He was actually convinced. And I told him, I said, you should try it sometime. Yeah, it's really salty. It's really salty, but it's good. Yeah, Kenny was he's like this, like, oh my God. And really, Blind Robin is fish. And it's really super salty. But it's so good. Yeah, it's good with beer. It's good with just about anything. Yeah, if you like smoked sucker, you would definitely love Blind Robin. But it's expensive too. Blind Robin is very expensive. Amy's playing a game over there.
Sorry.
She's playing a game over there. It's making all kinds of noises.
Sorry,
But
their own game.
Yeah, Blind Robin is really good. They have they're putting in a new Taco Bell at 52 and 57 for those of you who are local and watching this from Saginaw or St. Charles or Chesaning or wherever you're from. They've got the official signage up on the building that says Taco Bell. So we're just waiting for them to open the doors. I want some tacos. I don't want to have to drive clear to Owasso or Shields to get tacos. I can drive 3 miles up the road to Taco Bell and get all the tacos I want. And I'm going to be one of their most valued customers. I guarantee it, because I'm going to be chowing down on Nacho Bel Grandes. And if they have their $5, I don't know if they still do those, but if they have those, rest assured I'll get it. But they've got power going to the building. They've got the drive-through window installed. I think they still have to put up the menu where you drive around. Yeah, they almost had a fire. Well, that's not a good way to. The Powerball.
The thing up there.
The transformer.
Yep. They wired it wrong.
Well, that'll do it.
It started to smoke.
But I think they have to put in the menu, like where you drive in the drive-through, and then they put they got to put the speaker in yet. I'm looking forward to the Taco Bell. I'm going to be one of their most valued customers. I can't guarantee that I'll be their first customer, but I'll be a valued customer. And boy, let me tell you, McDonald's is probably going to be losing a lot of business. And Don Felipe, which is a Mexican restaurant in Chesaning, they might be, they got some competition on their hands. Now where Burger King was, that's going to be another gas station, and there's going to be a restaurant inside the gas station, like a chicken, whatever the fuck it's going to be. They're going to be selling chicken, and it's going to be a gas station. It's not going to be Kentucky Fried Chicken though. Chesaning used to have an A&W root beer restaurant. I can remember way back when I was a kid, like 30 years ago. That would have been perfect to have a perfect place to have a KFC and A&W together,
Yeah.
because you still got Little Caesars. That's where A&W used to be. And they got this vacant building where Burger King used to be, which, by the way, I remember years ago when that was a 2-story house and they tore it out of there to build Burger King. It's been a long time ago. And mom was telling me that Uncle Rick dated a girl who lived in that house that used to be there. But anyway, they're going to make it into a gas station and a chicken. What I guess they're going to be selling chicken. I don't know why. I mean, so that'll be like 4 gas stations we have in Chesaning, because we have Express Stop, Admiral, Marathon at the other end of town, and then this one. I think it's going to be a Sunoco.
And it's funny too because
Which,
1, 2,
for those of you,
3,
yeah, 4 restaurants or gas stations. For those of you who would remember Chesaning, say 25, 30 years ago, at the end of town by Amon's Garage, across the road from there is Ryan Motor Sales. That used to be a gas station, a Sunoco, years ago. They used to come out, pump your gas. They would check your tire pressure. They would check your additives. They did all that shit. I remember that when I was a kid. They would, when we always went there, they would come out and pump your gas for you. That my cousin Gary?
no, Jerry, our buddy.
Oh, Jerry. But I can remember all that stuff. And it was back when the gas pumps still had the numbers rolling up and making the ding sound. Like they have in Ashley. Yeah, that's a town that time forgot about. But yeah, that used to be a gas station years ago. I remember when anybody who lives in Chesaning now, they know this is Planet Video. That's what it's called now. They call it Planet Video. Now, years ago, that was called Showboat Party Express. It was a convenience store. And we used to get pop and chips and rent movies, video games, you name it, they had it. So now that's just a video store. China King used to be known as Point Party Shop. Mooney's Ice Cream was inside of there. Used to be able to get money orders at Point, and it was just a little convenience store. Frosty's has always been there as far as I can remember. Unless it was at a different location that I'm not aware of. But there's a drugstore, and this is really weird.
Frosties has never been there. They put that in new. That was never there.
Okay, so it wasn't there. This is what I find to be really strange, is that right in the middle in downtown Chesaning, they have a drugstore on the fucking corner across the street from Ace Hardware, and it's also a liquor store. So who needs amoxicillin when you've got Grandpa's cough medicine? Jack Daniels. I think it's really weird that they would sell medicine and alcoholic beverages in the same fucking store. That's just too weird to me. But way before that I can remember, it was Little Giant, which was a variety store, kind of like Murphy's in Owasso. Now they call it Spring Grove. Murphy's was a 5 and dime store. I remember Murphy's. And now they call it Spring Grove. It's a nice store. I mean, you can find some things in there that are fairly cheap, but with everything going up, it's kind of going out the window, kind of like at Dollar Days. They're raising everything over $1 or Dollar Tree or whatever it's called. Now it's more than $1.
Now I wonder if it's going to stay open because they don't have no work.
Now, do you remember Murphy's in Owasso? Yeah.
That Pearl used to work there
Yeah.
years ago.
Yep.
Pearl.
I love Murphy's. My grandma Beulah used to shop there all the time when my mom was a little girl. I love Murphy's. My grandma Beulah, my mom's mom, she used to shop there when my mom was a little girl all the time. And you figure back in the 60s, 70s, everything back then was much cheaper. But yeah. Yep. Everything's changed so much, but I remember a lot of the stores and businesses around town, like the dispensary there at Front Street and M57. that was Ben Franklin's. Used to be a Ben Franklin store a long time ago.
Where the drugstore is, and that was sells records.
Yeah,
Used to be a dime store.
Little Giant.
Yeah.
I pointed that out already.
Yeah.
So what about Tri-County Citizen, the newspaper? That used to be over by Waterworks.
Yep, that ain't there no more.
Nope. And I remember that. I remember that very well. And I know that for a fact because my grandparents, his mom and stepdad, used to deliver for the Tri-County Citizen. And I actually went on a paper run with them when I was a kid. I was in the back seat and I had stacks of newspapers on each side from the floorboards to the ceiling. And Grandpa Barrower, he drove. My grandma never drove. She never had her driver's license, but he drove. And he says, "Is my grandson back there? He's awfully quiet. I'm back here, Grandpa," my little cherub voice. He says, "Okay, just making sure." And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun delivering papers with Grandpa and Grandma. I'll never forget it. And I that's not an exaggeration. Newspapers, so many newspapers, you couldn't see me. There were newspapers from the floorboards to the ceilings, from the seats to the ceilings. And I could honestly say that's probably one memory that I have of Grandpa and Grandma that none of the other kids ever got to do.
And he would always get a break fixed every week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He would always get his brake fixed every week because of all the wear and tear. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Yeah, that's a lot of wear and tear on the vehicle. But I think that's the one thing that I can actually say, a memory that I have of my grandpa and grandma that none of my cousins have. I actually got to go on a paper route with them. They took me with them. Yeah. I don't even think, they didn't take Jay or Wayne. No, I did. I went. And it was a lot of fun. I remember it like it was yesterday. Yep. I remember that so very well. It was a wonderful memory from my childhood. Yep. We were going down Corunna Road and we were almost to Chesaning Road. And that's when Grandpa Bear says, "Is my grandson back there? I can't hear you. You're awful quiet back there." "No, I'm here, Grandpa." He says, "Well, you're awful quiet back there." He must have thought I was reading the sports section. I don't know. Yeah, reading the comics or whatever they had back then in the Tri-County Citizen. But there's so many things about Chesaning that I can remember that a lot of these businesses don't exist anymore. Farmer Pete's had gone under years ago.
When I was a kid, when you go down to the park,
Yeah.
slide down that toboggan slide.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, Pete Packing. It was in Chesaning for many years. And
My dad worked at General Meats.
and then a famous I think he was a baseball player.
Yeah, he was.
His name was Denny McLean, and you can look this information up.
Went to prison for-
He went to prison for embezzling the pensions of the workers at Farmer Pete's. So that's why Farmer Pete shut down, because Denny McLean
stole money.
stole all the money. He embezzled, I guess is what you call it. And yeah, it really happened. I mean, you can look it up, Google it. But there's a lot of history of Chesaning that I remember very. Frank's Supermarket, as long as I have known it to be, is still in the same place. But way before I was born, back when my mom and dad were kids, I think Frank's was on the east side of town. It was where Ben Franklin was, right? Frank's used to be there. Mom said there was an east side market and a west side market when she was growing up. But I was always told that Frank's used to be where Ben Franklin's was, there at the light. Yeah. 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 And that's a nice plaza right there. Where Ben Franklin's was. Well, now it's a medical marijuana dispensary. Yeah, Chesaning, and that's one thing I kind of brought up to everybody's attention is, it's actually kind of good that they're putting a Taco Bell in here, provided that there's fucking medical marijuana dispensaries and pot farms. Where the munchies are coming from. Yeah, so that's going to work out perfect. The revenue is going to be rolling in Chesaning. And the one pot, I think it's where they grow the marijuana, where Tuscarora Plastics used to be.
Yeah, that's where they grow it.
Yeah,
Everything.
you drive by there, boy, you can smell it. Woo! You go down, I think it's Line Street
You can drive anywhere through that
or
town
Brady
now.
Street.
You drive right down the main section of town.
Yeah, well, it's at Line and Brady is the nearest intersection, but it's actually on Brady Street.
You can
Um,
smell it. Go
but you can drive through that intersection and get a big whiff of pot.
drive through town and get a whiff of it.
I remember that corner very well because my cousin Carol Ann used to live in that big house at the corner of Line and Brady, and I remember spending the night there at my cousin Carol's house, Carol Ann, and it was me, my cousin David and Jerry, they're brothers. Those are my Aunt Anna's two sons, and then all of Carol's kids. So there's Adam and David and Matthew and Daniel and Sarah. Those are her kids, and yeah, it was all of us kids. We all spent the night together.
Sarah hangs out with Jolene, Tony's wife.
Well, Sarah had a kid with a Saville, with Zach Saville.
Was that?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. So there's another Saville I'm related to. But yeah, I remember I have that memory of when Carol lived at the corner there in Chesaning.
Aunt Kathy used to live in the same place.
Yeah. And that was I think that was back when Carol worked at the malt shop. My cousin Carol Ann used to work at the malt shop. That would be my mom's niece because
Buddy lived right there.
because Carol's mom Kathy, I call Muff, she was my mom's sister. Yeah, one of them. My grandma had a lot of kids. And I mentioned something on Facebook too. I said, just imagine if my grandma Beulah was still alive today, all the grandchildren she's got out there. There's hundreds at least, because my grandma had about 17 kids total. So the grandkids are fucking everywhere, sporadic. We multiplied.
Walk by 'em and not know
Yeah,
where
I
they
could
are.
pass someone in the street and not even know they're my relatives. I mean, they're grandkids as far as the eye can see. My grandma had a big family.
Great
Yeah,
grandkids.
and the generations just keep. But what I think is kind of special is that I was the very last grandchild to be born before she passed away. Because I was born in July of '86 and grandma died in October of '86, and I was only 3 months old.
Which I think
Um,
is kind of strange too, Jared.
what's that?
Me and my brother and sister were the first set of grandkids born to
Yeah,
grandma.
yeah.
And you guys were the first set of, or you were the last one.
What dad's trying? I know what dad's trying to say. My dad, my Uncle Tim, my Uncle Danny, and my Aunt Cheryl are my grandma and Grandpa Perkins' very first generation of grandchildren, because his mom is the oldest of 10 kids. Now, my dad, obviously, and Tim and Danny and Cheryl are all still alive. They are the very first set of grandchildren, the first generation of grandchildren, which I think pisses off a lot of the Rogers over there, by the way. And in comparison to that, I was the very last grandchild of my mom's mom to be born before she passed away, which is interesting.
It is, ain't it?
But I know if grandma were still here today and she saw all of her grandchildren, she would be in heaven. She would be just ecstatic.
She'd be laughing and everything.
She would want her grandbabies around her all the time.
Yep.
There's so many grandbabies now. There's so many.
Grandbabies,
Yeah,
great
Yeah,
grandbabies.
the generations just the generations of her grandchildren are just continuously adding on, and it's wonderful. I think it's amazing.
It's funny that we're still around, me, Dan, Tim, and Cheryl, and
Yeah.
our uncles we're about
Yeah.
the same age. And
Yeah.
they're gone.
And it is weird. What Dad's trying to get at is, as I said, a few minutes ago, that they're the first generation of grandchildren from Grandpa and Grandma Perkins, but 7 of their own children are gone. And that's over a span of 26 years. They've lost 7 of their kids. Now there's only 3 left. And Dad, Tim, Danny, and Cheryl are still around, which you outlived Uncle Ed, I know for sure, because Uncle Ed and Uncle Tim are the same age, and Uncle Ed passed away in 2003.
Been that many years. Wow.
Yeah, it's been 19 years. This
I've only got 3.
I don't even remember when. I don't even remember what month and day it was that Uncle Ed died. I remember Uncle Dale because he died the day that Montana was born. My niece Montana was born the same day that Uncle Dale passed away. Yeah, my niece Montana, she's not aware of this channel because I haven't talked to her, I haven't spoken to her. But she turned 18 on January 20th, and she's been hanging out at Wayne's. She had dinner with her dad, my brother, and I'm looking forward to seeing Montana. We all are. Yeah, she looks a lot like Wayne. She is a spitting image of Wayne. She's got Nora's eyebrows, the raised eyebrow, but the rest of her is all Wayne. It's all Wayne. It's all my brother. And she is beautiful. She's a beautiful girl. And yep, and I can't wait to see her. The last time I saw her, she was a baby.
Last time I saw her, she was at a yard sale when they were having a yard sale.
Yeah. Well, the last time I saw her, it was shortly after she was born. Like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days maybe after she was born. It was in Saginaw, over on Thurman Street off Brockway, for those of you familiar with Saginaw. The last time I saw her, she was just a baby, and I held her like this. I said, "Well, hi, Uncle Jared's girl." And she's just looking at me like a Fuller usually does. They look confused, you know, like, "Who are you?" "Well, I'm your Uncle Jared," That was the last time I saw her, but she's not a baby no more. She's a teenager, and yeah, I can't wait to see her, and she's gonna get a big old hug from Uncle Jared, that's for sure. And we'll have cookouts, and we'll have cookouts, and we're gonna get together, have fun. We're all gonna have a great time. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen her since she was a baby, 18 years. So I think it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing her again. Yeah, my brother Wayne, he's ecstatic. He's a changed person. I would dare say that he's a changed person because, he's like, yeah,
That day that Montana went to his house,
yeah,
she had a picture of me and you and Jay. And
Yeah.
he says, "Well, who's that?"
yeah. There's a picture of it was me and Jay and Dad, and I think Angel was Angel in that picture.
I think it was.
Yeah, and she was asking who we were, and Wayne says, "Well, that's your Uncle Jared, that's your Uncle Jay, that's your grandpa,
That's your grandpa.
and that is your cousin Angel." I almost said aunt, but no. They're cousins.
I said, "Oh."
And she's like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, we're all Fullers, by the way, except for Angel. I think she goes by McCarthy now. She went by her stepdad's last name.
Fuller, I don't care.
But yeah,
She's still a Fuller to me.
she's got the Fuller blood, so
The temper.
yeah, and the temper.
Got her dad's temper.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Montana again. It's going to be a great time, and
Angel's getting babies.
yeah, it's just weird. I got great nieces and great nephews. Like my brother's a grandfather. It's just weird to say it that way. Because I'm the youngest of my dad's 3 kids, and I'm the only one who doesn't have kids. And now knowing that my brother is a grandfather, it's like, holy fuck, you're a grandpa, and my mom's a great grandma. It's weird. It's just really weird. So now, in that regard, when we're talking about Montana, Angel, Corey, Ariana, and Bella, you and Mom are the patriarch and matriarch of all these kids. So, and I think that's pretty cool. None for me, of course. I don't have kids, but yep, there's a lot of I think I got more nieces and nephews. Biologically, I think I do. I got more nieces and nephews. So, but in any event, I love them all the same, and Uncle Jared always will love them. Well, we're down to the last 10 minutes of the show, and it's been a wonderful Sunday video update. We're going to be heading out after I'm done doing this, and we're going to go visit with some family, as mentioned earlier, or a couple times at least. I'm looking forward to seeing the kids and seeing how big they're getting and catching up on lost time, because the COVID going on. They've had the COVID. Amy and I have had the COVID, and it'll be nice just to get up there and to catch up on lost time, see how big they're getting, and talk about school. And yeah, they got a new pond. So it's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to going. I'm really looking forward to going. I haven't been up there in a long time, so it'll be nice. For the rest of the week, I don't know what the plans are for the rest of the week. Yeah, on the 14th, we pay the taxes. On the 10th,
The 8th, I have an appointment. The 10th, I've got an appointment.
well, the 10th, she's got to be in Saginaw at the dentist.
And then the 8th, I have to be at my regular doctor.
At the 8th, you have to be in Owasso. The 10th, you got to be in Saginaw. 22nd, got to be in Saginaw. I got to pay taxes on the 4th. So we've got things to do, folks. It's in a nutshell. Yeah, things to do, people to see. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah. But yeah, we got things coming up. We got things to do, and before I forget, I wanted to bring this up too. My cousin Michael is in the hospital, and the reports haven't been the greatest. So I just wanted to say, Michael, I don't know if you watched you're not aware of this channel. You probably have no idea that I have a YouTube channel, but I want you to know anyway, and I'll say it for public record. I love you very much. We all love you. Uncle Wayne loves you, and we're thinking about you, and we hope that you pull through and get better. We love you very much, and so I wanted to make sure I got that out into that message out into the open. And as another quick reminder, new private Facebook group. It's called the Fuller Giroux Family. I'm going to try to, get as many people as I can in the group, relatives and descendants of my grandfather and my grandmother, descendants, relatives, people who are cousins of my grandparents or descendants like I am. I'm going to try to get as many people as I can in the group, and we're going to see how that goes. And if it's not a success, I'm just going to delete the group. There's really no point in hanging on to something that's not going to work. But I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try, see how it goes, and go from there. We'll take it from there and connect with some relatives and get to know some people. And now Grandpa was telling us that there was a death in the family on the Fuller side, and I am not exactly sure if that's accurate, because he said a cousin had passed away. I'm gonna check this out right now. Let's see. Okay, that's my cousin. That's my his name is Clement. Grandpa Fuller said that he passed away, but I think Grandpa got it wrong.
He may have been talking about.
He was probably talking about Lowell,
Yeah.
because Lowell died stupidly. I'm going to say it was a stupid way he died. But I think Grandpa got it wrong,
Yeah, 'cause it don't say nothing.
because I don't see any obituary about my cousin Clement. Clement, I will say Clement has had a colorful past. He's been in a lot of trouble
Too much trouble. And stupid
um,
things that he did.
for robberies and stuff like that.
Troublemaker.
I'm not bragging, because it's nothing to brag about, but
Troublemaker.
he's been in and out of prison a lot.
I don't talk to him.
I've never met him.
Do with him.
I've never met him.
I don't want nothing to do with him.
But Fuller is a common name. So I think Grandpa may have gotten it wrong, because there's no obituary anywhere for Clement. No, he said Clement. Grandpa's precisely said Clement Fuller. It wasn't Clement, though. It wasn't Clement. I think it was Lowell. He was talking about our cousin Lowell.
He died a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
He died a long time ago.
Let's see. I don't even know how old he was.
He had been dead.
Um,
Younger than Dad, or that was Dad's uncle.
I believe so.
Dad's been older than Dad.
I believe it was. Yeah, I don't even know if this is the same. I'm just looking up see if I can find some information about my cousin Lowell. I actually know he was Grandpa's cousin,
Grandpa.
because his dad was Clement,
Yeah.
big Clement. So Lowell was Grandpa's cousin,
Cousin. Yep.
because I think Uncle Clement was Grandpa Earl's brother,
Yeah.
if I think, or something like that, or I don't
We'll
know.
find out.
I'll have to do some digging in our family history, but I'm pretty sure our Uncle Clement, who was in the Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers Circus, was Earl Fuller's brother.
To do all that, there's a lot of
There's a lot of pages, a lot of sheets, but Grandpa, that information goes back to like the 16 and 1700s.
Yeah.
That's deep information.
right on.
I'm trying to just find out, because
I'm excited to find out what any of
because
them is.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm understanding this correctly, because Lowell Fuller, who passed away, he was a cousin of my grandfather's. He suffocated in a grain silo. It was a stupid way to die, but he is gone nonetheless. He got trapped in the grain silo, and because Grandpa said that Lowell is his cousin. So how I'm guessing it is that Clement, being Lowell's dad, was Grandpa Earl's brother, because Clement was Grandpa's uncle, and Lowell was Clement's son, which would have made him Grandpa's cousin. And Lowell is Misty's dad, Misty Wells's dad. That's how we're related. So that's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's how it is. I think that's the proper, how the descendants. If we're going to look at genealogy, I think that's how he's related, because his dad and Grandpa Earl were brothers. So there's a lot of family history, folks. I'm still learning all kinds of new shit about my family every day, it seems, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I love learning stuff about my family and my heritage and my ancestry and yeah. I mean, as I pointed out, I had a grandfather born in England, and I had a grandfather born in India. So I had, we're descendants of those earlier generations of people. So we have British and German and Irish and of course Indian. Dad, it would take you months to read every page. Every page you would have to read, starting from page 1, and you're sifting through about 12,000 pages. That's what it seems like. But yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork. But we are down to the final minute of the Sunday video update. Dad, last words before we head out the door?
Everybody stay safe out there. And take care of your neighbors. Love one another.
Amy, anything?
And peace out, be safe.
Peace out and be safe, Amy says. We have officially hit the 4 o'clock mark. My name is Jared Bear Fuller. I will be here next week on February 13th at 3 o'clock. It's Uncle Mark. Well, we're going to be leaving. So I thank you all for watching and indulging us for the past hour. My name is Jared Fuller, once again, also known as Jared Bear. I'll be here next week, Sunday, February 13th, 2022. Have a wonderful week. Stay warm. We got hit with a bunch of snow last week, by the way. Owasso got like 11 inches. We got 8 inches. Further south in the state, they got like 15 inches. So, we're all digging out from the snow here in Michigan. But anyway, much love. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Stay warm. And I'll be back next week. So peace out, guys. Take care.